With this, with the first one, I did forget to plug in my headphones, so I'll have to go through this stuff again. Well, not really. I'll just do it briefly. Basically, someone wanted to ask about general rules for being a better sub. Um, in their relationship that they've been in for a while, more curious about outside of a scene, like how to be a better sub outside the scene or scening, as it were, and that goes into the general lifestyle side of things, like 24/7 lifestyle. And they said that they found a lot of information um, about, basic sort of, how they treat them inside a scene and during sessions and all sorts of other stuff, but nothing outside of that, specifically to do with subs, how they treat their DOMs. And I was like, well, it's the same as every other. Hey, Shirley. Any other kind of relationship in your life, and that is, one, consent. Some people talk about enthusiastic, hell yes and hell no. I'm just like, just consent in general. Um, Things that your D type may or may not be comfortable with. Um, doing soft limits, hard limits, all that sort of stuff. Now, quite often subs will try and manipulate DOMs into doing something or having a relationship that they didn't originally agree to. Definitely talk about that sort of stuff, please, people. Because it's not just consent of the sub that is something to be considered. It's the consent of anyone and everyone involved, which includes not just a one-on-one, but a multiple-on-one or multiple relationships. Communication, being clear about what you need or want, or your limits, soft and hard. Be crystal clear, even if you go, I don't know what those are, what I want, what I need, what my limits are, because sometimes, particularly when you're starting out, or even if you've been in for a long time but exploring something new or coming back to something you haven't done in a long time, your limits, needs, and wants for those things can and will change. So communicate as much as possible with that. Now, aftercare. Um, D types need aftercare too. Whether it's just cuddles and stuff, or whether it's just leave them the hell alone. Give them a day or two to talk about things or think things through, or whatever. They might go incommunicado for a while. Now, having said this, aftercare can vary depending on play, depending on what's going on, how intense the play is. It doesn't mean that the more intense the play, the more aftercare they need. It could be a different type of aftercare. For one thing, they might need cuddles. For another thing, they might need to be left alone. Whatever the aftercare is, being available to to communicate with them is a good thing, which leads into the debrief section, which is talk about scenes, talk about issues. Now, talking about scenes and issues, because sometimes you can come up with issues outside of scenes that you will need to talk about with regards to your dynamic and how things are working. Basically, what is and isn't working, possible issues going forward, any improvements or solutions. Um, Basically, again, with the communication, because no one is a mind reader, as much as they might be able to read your body. The thing is, if you don't communicate and do a debrief and be honest about it, because some people I know have done a debrief with a Dom but not been honest about it, which means that they get the wrong impression that you might like a particular thing when you didn't. Sometimes you can do debrief and communicate while you are in play or while you are scening, which is good in that the Dom will go, okay, the way that they move their body and all that, you go, ow, 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 that, no, I don't like that, or this is my pain level. Then they will immediately associate, okay, that's their body's reaction to this kind of pain, that's the limit for them, this is where I've got to go now. That is also very helpful. What else? Oh, we're all human. all of us are human. Doms, subs, whatever. Doms particularly think that they have to be strong or commanding all the time. That's not the case. It's an image or a stereotype that, Doms walk around all beefed up with watermelons or with spiky heels, all dressed up in black and leather and commanding and have to be strong and make all the decisions. No, that's not the case. When you're verging into the outside of the play scenes into your more lifestyle 24/7, you find out Doms are just human, just like the rest of us. They don't and they can't be strong all the time. If you, as a sub, can make their life a little easier, then that helps them keep their eyes on the prize, so to speak, with the general direction your relationship is going to. They some like micromanaging, don't get me wrong. That's their dynamic. But again, I kind of look at it as like captain and crew. Captain being the dom, crew being me or my other partners. In that the captain will have a map saying this is where we're going, these are where the reefs are, here's a sea monster here and blah blah there. I will be like in the lookout or manning the ship and taking care of some of the little things while they're sort of overseeing, go, okay, well, this is the general condition of the ship. I'll go, hey boss, this particular line here is frayed, we need to tend to that. Or I see something that's not on the map, which is, a big pod of whales, or the sea monster has changed location to be here now, which wasn't on the map. So then they can adjust course or, confer or change or do whatever at the helm to be able to steer the, relationship. Not to say that we won't encounter storms, dead calms or whatnot, but it helps further the relationship and take a lot of the stress for all of the decision making and all of the responsibility. Because one thing that a lot of people still don't understand is that just because you're an S-type doesn't mean you don't have responsibilities, particularly when you're going 24/7, particularly when it's lifestyle. In fact, quite a few people, as I've said this before, have more responsibilities on a small level. You are responsible for not only the stuff that you're tasked to do, but responsible for communication, aftercare, consent, and debrief, and generally what's going on. I guess some people forget that being in a kink dynamic is the same as having any other relationship. There are people involved, they're human. Basic mutual respect for people is what I like to try and live by. I don't always succeed because some people do rub me up the wrong way and some people just would rather not deal with. And it's interesting to see that many people have actually found having a dynamic has improved a lot of their everyday life, and that they can look and analyze and think about their relationship on a more conscious level to say, okay, this is what's happening. Do I like it? Don't I like it? Is this really an issue or is it not really an issue? Do I need to talk about this a bit more? So yeah, as general rules go, I mean they specifically wanted stuff from sub to sub being better as a sub to a dom, but I would generally apply these rules to any sort of relationship and for both sides or all sides. So what general guidelines do you like to keep in mind for having a better dynamic for you? Do you treat your dynamic differently from everyday relationships, or do you kind of incorporate that into your overall lifestyle, not just in the kink community? And has being in a dynamic helped you in other areas of your life? That's an interesting one. Anyway, that's it for me on Friday, and hopefully I can remember to do this, plug in my mic again next time rather than having to do this again. Okay, keep calm, stay kinky. Mwah. See you guys.